What's going on, Seawolves? You're watching USG Hot Takes. I'm your host, A.T. Bianco, and today our guest is computer science faculty member Richard McKenna. Thank you for being here with us today.
It's great to be here.
So, to start, how are you with hot foods?
I do like hot foods. I think my favorite type of food is maybe Indian food. I love chicken, butter chicken and chicken tikka masala and all the traditional, I guess, although chicken tikka masala I think is actually originally from Scotland, believe it or not.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So you're kind of experienced when it comes to the spices of this.
Yeah, I think so. I can remember going to a hole-in-the-wall wings place in college, which had all-you-can-eat wings one night a week, and I think it was like $3.99 or $4.99, early 90s or something like this. And the wings were so hot you basically couldn't eat more than one.
Really?
So I went there once. It was good for takeout if you got the normal spice.
Yeah.
But if you went and you got the super hot spice stuff, you weren't going to be able to eat that.
So hopefully you could stomach this. We're only taking one bite for today, but in terms of the sauce, you ready to get to it?
Sure.
All right. So I've heard that you're the guy to talk to if you want to specialize in game programming in the comp-sci major. What would you say to a student who's looking to go down that path in computer science?
Well, game programming, of course you need to have all the fundamentals of programming first, right? You don't want to put the cart before the horse. And so enjoy CSE 320, which in our department has a reputation of maybe being a particularly hard course. But I think a course like that, there's also another course, 376, which gets taught sometimes, which is a systems course, Unix, and the operating systems course. Like some of these courses I think are thought of as difficult courses, but game programmers deal with making game engines, and the inner workings of those things can actually be very complicated. Understanding the inner workings of these things is of great value, and so enjoy CSE 320. That's what my advice would be.
So you're also an advisor to the Stony Brook game developers?
Yes.
On campus. What has your experience been like with such a rapidly growing, popular group on campus?
With student organizations, so much is dependent on the leadership of the group. And we've been very lucky with that group. We had a guy, Peter Lee, last year, who really was the most positive, encouraging, friendly person that you could have leading a group, and he would make people want to participate in the group. And so he brought in some people that I think Liz Albano and JJ Salvador and some other, who are now leading the group. And it's the same thing. They make people want to go and want to participate in things like that. And I think that the thing with these student groups, which I love, the undergraduate student organizations I find are maybe one of my favorite things to do. The important thing for those student organizations is to give people reasons to go to the meetings, give them a reason to go and want to go and things. The thing that we try to do with those groups is to bring back alum who now work out in industry doing all sorts of different things.
And kind of connect them and help them network in a sense.
Absolutely. They come back and stay close to campus and participate in things and hire people. I get emails all the time from ex-students asking me, can you give me a great student? I need to hire somebody, please recommend somebody. And so that's really great with those organizations. A lot of what we like is having current students maybe seeing where they could be in a few years from other students who were in their same situation.
Right. Cheers, my friend. So, you have quite the retro video game collection, I've heard. What's your favorite video game, and do you still have time to play these video games?
Well, these days, I'm a game sampler.
Okay.
So, I don't play much depth in a game. Anyway, my favorite all-time game is StarCraft, and that's the first one.
Okay.
Okay, I could still sit down and play it, and still play it competitively. I would lose, but I would enjoy it.
So what attracts you to that game so much? Why do you like it so much?
I like it so much because you can play it in so many different ways. I mean, it has two modes. It has the chapter mode where you're just playing by yourself with different levels and things like that, and then it has the PvP mode. Okay, and in the PvP mode, I think I was 0-25 or something like that, and I had been trash talked up, down, backwards, forwards.
It's expected.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't know. I mean, there were things about the game that I had not realized. Like, for example, I didn't know that you could save the game and then replay it and watch it. But somebody in the game told me that, and I was like, really? So then I go and I look at the game that I had just played, and I see the strategy that the person used against me. And I say, all right, I'm going to do exactly the same thing against the next poor soul, right, who's against me. And I go and do that, and I win, and I'm 1-27. And then I'm just, the biggest trash talker on the planet, right? I mean,
yeah.
You lost to me. I was 0-27. Come on. So that's kind of, I think one of the fun things about PvP is you're outsmarting another person. And with StarCraft, you can do it in so many different ways. People use all sorts of different strategies. It's a very fun game. I also like Fallout 3.
Okay.
In my mind, that was an absolutely perfect game. So yeah, I have a number. I mean, if I go way back, I used to love Atari 2600. Was kind of when I was a kid. I remember going to birthday parties. This one kid in my neighborhood had a birthday party, and I gave him a present, River Raid, which was this Activision game. I think at the time it cost like $40 or $50, which is amazing to think about because it's like early 80s. And I remember he sat there and he made all the kids attending his birthday party watch him play.
Oof.
It was like single player, and we all had to sit there and watch him play.
And you got it for him. That's funny. So we're right to the third sauce now. You ready for this?
Okay, which one is this?
You want to read it for us?
Louisiana style. All right, I've been to Louisiana.
Pain is good, it's called.
Okay.
So, word on the street is that you passionately hate World of Warcraft.
No, that's not true.
Explain this.
I've played it a little bit years ago. I mean, I can understand the allure of the game and games like it. I mean, it's this immersive world that you can go into and lose yourself, right? The thing is that I have had students lose themselves. I mean, really, that has happened to students. I had an intervention one time. All right.
With a student?
Well, I had a student. He was obsessed with it, and he told me this story. It was an interesting story. He, for Thanksgiving break, he told his family he couldn't come home because he had too much work to do. Okay? And his family knew what was up. Like, they had already been through these issues, I guess. And so what they did is they got the whole family into the cars together, and they drove out to his dorm room, and there he was playing World of Warcraft. And they forced him to delete his account right there.
The entire family?
The whole family. They all got together, and they forced him to delete his account.
Get out.
And
wow.
he told me this story. And he told me this story like 6 months later. And he was, in retrospect, he said something like, I still kind of think about it and wish I could play, but I am really thankful that they did that because, his academic career turned around. All of a sudden he was getting good grades and all of that. And before that, he was really struggling. So there is that aspect of it, where people, they just lose themselves in it. And it starts to take priority in their lives. So it is the sort of thing where some people can get lost in that world and never come out. And I mean, honestly, I have had students who have essentially failed out because they've just simply gamed too much. I mean, that definitely happens, right? Now, the actual implementation of the game is amazing, right? I mean, if you think about all the technology used and all of the different things it has to do, I mean, it has to have great content and rendering. Of course, all of the networking of players from around the world collaborating in one place and working together. And I mean, all of the technology there is really remarkable. And so I have used it and referred to it from time to time in some of my courses. But I always say, you know, first thing beginning of the semester, okay, if you have an MMO account, kill it right now.
Great advice from an experienced gamer, too, as well. So, are you familiar with Rate My Professors?
Yes.
All right. Do you know that you have an overall rating of 3.9?
Okay, is that good or bad?
That's very good. Your most frequently mentioned tags are being respected,
Really?
hilarious, and giving lots of homework.
Those don't seem to go together. I don't understand that.
There's plenty more, but those were the three top ones. So after we take a bite, I'm going to hand you a flashcard with a Rate My Professor comment from over the past 5-6 years. And after you're done reading it, I want you to look forward into your camera right here.
I did once have in my, like, you know how we get reviews?
Yeah.
Once somebody wrote, the class would be much more enjoyable if the professor lost 20 pounds. Now, can you believe that?
Oh, wow. None of these, I mean, I saw some rough ones on there.
I have to admit, I found that rather amusing.
Yeah, like...
I was like, I'm working on it, come on.
So I'm gonna hand you a card one by one. You'll read it and your reaction to the camera, and then we'll talk about it a little bit and then move on to the next one.
Okay.
So you ready for that? So we're gonna clink wings here. Cheers. This one's called The Bomb. All right, so you're ready. So read the class and the quote, please.
Well, that was a step up right there, from there to there.
100%.
What are you doing to me here? I guess this is the point.
It's where the show gets hard. We take a little milk break.
This is which one? The bomb.
The Bomb.
The class is CSC 290. He keeps his lectures entertaining by telling stories and making jokes. I've probably used some of the stories and jokes here, by the way. I learned that from an old professor I had, Tom Cortina. He would teach the same class 2 lectures in a row.
Uh-huh.
All right, so CSC 114, actually.
Yeah.
2 lectures in a row. And I was in the first lecture. But sometimes I would arrive late for class. All right, so maybe I'll arrive a little bit late and I miss the first 10 minutes. So I would stay for the first 10 minutes of the second class, right? And what I learned from that experience was that he repeated all the same jokes in both lectures, pretending they were off-the-cuff jokes, right? So I was like, hey, that's a great idea. So I would do that. He keeps his lectures entertaining by telling stories and making jokes. His exams are multiple choice and really easy. Wait a second. One of the best professors I've had, I guess, respects students and students give him respect back. Well, I guess it depends on the multiple choice. I did have a multiple choice exam last semester, which was rather hard. The hardest thing in making a multiple choice exam is coming up with good wrong answers, right?
Okay. See, I've always thought about that. You know, how do professors do this, you know?
Because, you know, you can come up with a question and figure out what the proper answer is. But you want to be fair, but then you have to figure out what are good wrong answers for these questions. And that's how you come up with a good multiple choice exam.
All right. So this is the next one. So here you go.
Well, this is from CSE 114, which is a course I took back in another millennium.
Okay.
The comment is, I like his lecture and final project. It was so fun. But I got a B+. because I did not study about Java at all. I regret.
Do you remember anything from that class?
Well, that's
Were you supposed to study Java? Is that what it was?
Well, that's a course that I taught last 2 semesters. And last semester, the final exam was maybe a little on the hard side. I don't know what semester this was from. But,
Okay.
the first time I taught that course, I think, was fall 2002. I think we've been using Java all the way since then.
I think that comment was from either 2013 or 2014.
Oh, okay.
If I recall, too. All right, so here's the next one.
I'm still recovering from that.
Yeah,
one.
take it.
Wow,
Take it.
that's like a...
It's painful, and it lingers too.
This is CSE 219. McKenna teaches you how to swim in a jacuzzi and then throws you into the middle of the Pacific Ocean with his final project.
Do you recall anything from that class as far as your final project goes?
219 was a full semester project course. First, you would learn the technologies, and then you would design and implement a solution to a particular problem using those technologies. Okay. The inspiration for this came from our alumni in industry, who said, you know what you should have? You should have a course where you give students a whole bunch of code. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work, and they have to figure out how to make it work. Yeah, sometimes the final project I would have in my mind, oh, it's going to be perfect level of difficulty, and then it ends up being very hard.
So to verify, you do not throw your students in the Pacific Ocean for
A
your
little
final
bit.
exam.
A little bit.
Okay.
Final project.
All
A
right.
little bit. In that course, I definitely would on occasion. Some semester, because it's a different project every single semester.
They got to bring their life jackets and their floaties too, probably.
A bit, yeah.
Next one.
All right, here we go. Let's see. So, CSE 114. The review is avoid him at all costs. Take Fodor instead. Now, Fodor is Paul Fodor, and I completely agree with that point right there.
Why is that?
Because Paul Fodor is the greatest instructor who's ever lived. This is a man who, you have to understand, we have, I don't know if you ever used Piazza.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Piazza is this site where classes can ask each other questions. It's kind of a message board sort of a thing. But it separates students and teaching assistants and instructors and things like that. Paul Fodor, he has an average response time. I want you to think about this on Piazza. If a student posts a message, he has an average response time of 3 minutes. Okay? Now, that to me...
He's working even when it's not work.
People post messages in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I mean, is he sitting there with his phone ready, waking up in the middle of the night
Right.
and posting responses and things like that? So he is an amazing person, that guy, okay? I also kind of feel like, I feel a little bit fatherly towards Paul Fodor, even though he's not much younger than me. Because when he was hired by our department, I kind of, the very first semester, he actually taught CSE 219 with me, and I kind of, got him used to how that course was run and with the projects and things like that. But, he's much smarter than me. I don't know if you know him.
No, I actually do not know him, but I've heard from computer science students that you guys kind of have this relationship where you kind of jab at each other, kind of make fun of each other a little bit, tell some jokes.
Well, it's just me being insecure because I know how much better he is than me. And the truth of the matter is, Paul is this very, very, very smart guy who can teach these very challenging graduate level courses.
Right.
That, no sane person would trust me with teaching.
So this is going to be our last comment. So you ready for it?
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right. Let's see. Are these like progressively meaner? You're not going to get meaner than to lose 20 pounds. I mean, come on. You're not going to find one worse than
which
that.
I'm glad you said that because it kind of lightened the pressure a little bit. I was very I didn't want to go too hard for this.
That's all right. Believe me, I'm used to it. I've been reading these comments for so many years. All right. The class is CSE 219. I see him as one of the best CS professors. Really? He is very clear in class, and you can tell he enjoys it very much. Don't call him professor, and he doesn't shake hands, so don't try that either.
Yes, no?
Well, I'm not a germphobe. Like, I think some people think I'm a germphobe. I'll shake hands. I'm not really a hugger. Like, I'll shake hands.
All right.
But people who want to give me a hug,
You're like,
I
no
tell
way.
people, loved ones get a hug, but everybody else doesn't, right? So, shake hands, yes, but hugging, no. And it's not that, I don't, wish to express my love for my fellow human beings and my students. I love my students. I mean, I've had thousands and thousands of students. I can remember the Rolodex of their names in here and such incredibly fond, even going all the way back to someone like Betson Thomas, who you have no idea who this person is, who has left such an impression on my life, right? Just because he took like 9 courses with me.
Okay.
I think he's the all-time record holder.
Wow.
I think he took 9 courses with me, including research projects and things like that. So I love these people. Betson Thomas might get a hug, right? Like
maybe.
He might get a hug.
Okay.
Right? But your average, everyday person who wants to give me a hug, I'm not a hugger.
Good luck. I'm just gonna wish you some luck.
Should I be like taking a tiny, tiny, tiny bite here or something?
That's up to you.
This might be a joke and it might be nothing. I don't know. Although I do see this number here. So, what was this last one? Does it have a?
It goes up quite a bit.
Because this is 357,000 Scoville. How about this one? This is 135. Oh wow.
It goes up. Was it 2 times?
So we need a paramedic on scene here. All right.
All right. Ready?
So if I eat this whole thing, will you eat that whole thing?
We've never had anybody do that before. I can't tell you. I can't tell you I will. I can't tell you I will.
So you invite me here.
If you do, I will try my best. But good luck. Good luck with that.
You do it first.
No. No, I can't do that to you.
Obviously.
Cheers. So you're a faculty advisor for ComSci. See, it hit him right there. There are so many avenues to go down in such a competitive industry.
Now, 1 second. This one here, I'm noticing, because it doesn't have as much sauce, like in terms of like, doesn't spread around your mouth, it actually wasn't as harsh.
No, it's the buildup of the both of them.
You think so?
Yes.
Because this one is a little like, maybe saucier. Like, well, this one's a little drier maybe. But you're saying it's because I already had that one.
Yes.
And my mouth is now numb.
From that. That's why. If you had this before, you'd probably be like, wow, this is just as bad.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Ooh. You're a faculty member of ComSci.
Yeah.
Advisor. There are so many avenues to go down in such a competitive industry. What do you think ComSci students at Stony Brook have to do in order to separate themselves from their competition?
That's a very good question. So when I have nothing to do, I program. Now this is kind of this is the sort of thing that some people think I'm strange for doing that, right? I sit there and at home, or I sit at the library or at bookstores and things like that, and I sit there and I work on just my own personal little projects, which someday I'll figure out how to monetize. But I've yet to ever figure out how to do any of that. Like, that's, to me, this is by far the hardest part. But anyway, so I enjoy programming, okay? And that's why I like this particular field. And there are a lot of students like that, all right? Have this guy, Raul he's the leader of the Stony Brook Computing Society. He led the SBU hacks thing, okay? I hate him, okay? Because he could teach my course better than I could, okay?
Wow.
I mean, he could come in, this 22-year-old guy.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous of him. And, he's a very smart guy. And, he can very quickly pick up technologies and learn technologies and things like that. And, students like that, they enjoy, in their free time, doing these things, right? So the people who really want to set themselves apart, I think it's good to think about it that way, in that, you know, you're committed to the field because you enjoy it. And when you get good at things, you enjoy it more. And so, just like writers, I mean, I think of people who are in the humanities who probably write in their free time and write short stories and things like that. I mean, I have friends of mine who write short stories and write poetry for no reason. They don't get paid for it.
Right. Sometimes it's a good hobby. I mean, personally,
Absolutely.
I love to write. I think it's almost therapeutic.
Yeah.
Whether it's a person writes lyrics, poems, short stories, anything. It's just you get it down on paper. It helps you organize your thoughts.
Right. I mean, you know, musicians write songs and they throw away a lot of songs, right? It's not like they're doing each song for a paycheck or something. But each time you do it, you get a little better in that you do it for fun. I mean, it's not that you sit there and you program really boring, horrible, technical things that don't interest you. You know, you think of a problem. Especially it's useful if it serves a purpose for you. You know, the whole expression, necessity is the mother of invention. So, you know, those people have a big advantage, right? Because, you know, they're figuring things out on their own, and in the long run, in computer science, you're not always going to be trained in the technology you need to use. Many times, you will be told, we want you to use this technology, and the first thing you have to do is essentially train yourself. I mean, working on your own projects like that, I think, is maybe one of the most important things. People who program in their free time, okay, have a big advantage, I would say.
So that's great advice from the professor, lecturer, advisor, Richard McKenna. So thank you for being here with us today and taking on the Hot Wings Gauntlet. I think you did it like a champ.
I think this was the winner, this one right here.
You thought that one was the hottest.
No, not the hottest. Just like in terms of taste.
The overall winner. Like
Yes.
you would eat that.
I would eat this one.
Okay.
Right? I mean, these were okay.
Not bad.
I mean, this I'll never go near again.
Yes. This will, yeah, you do not want to. You shouldn't be eating these.
No, but I am
regulars.
curious because of what you said. If I ate this first, like if I just had that one, would I have enjoyed it? Is the question. Or is it because I worked my way up to it that I enjoyed it?
I think it's the fact that you worked your way up to it, you would have enjoyed it. We used to have a sauce on here that was called Pain 100%, which was a lot more painful than this one.
Okay.
So that one might have been different for you as
All
well.
right.
But nonetheless, you took it on like a champ. So thank you for taking the time out and being here with us today on Hot
Sure.
Takes. So that's this episode of USG Hot Takes. I'm your host, A.T. Bianco, with our guest, Professor Richard McKenna. So Seawolves, thank you for watching, and have a great day. You're watching USG Hot Takes, the hottest show on campus.